Λοιπόν, είμαστε κοντά σας και πάλι και από την ελληνική επιχειρηματικότητα θα συζητήσουμε αυτή τη φορά με την επικεφαλής της EBRD, η οποία είναι κοντά μας και την ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Thank you very much for being with us here tonight, and I would like to welcome you here. Next time, I hope we are in Delphi. And I would like to start this discussion by an introduction of your institution. Could you please tell us what exactly you're doing and where exactly you're finding the funding?
So the institution is a public development bank, a multilateral development bank created in 1991. So we are celebrating the 200th birthday. We are celebrating the 30th birthday of our bank this year. And it's with governments who are shareholders, so it's states. We have 71 shareholders from different countries, European shareholders, the European Commission is a shareholder, EIB is a shareholder, but also US, Japan, and so forth. So broad shareholders and multilateral institution. And we've been created after the collapse of Soviet Union and transformation of Eastern European countries from very state-driven economies to market economies. And so at the core of our mandate, historically, and that's been from the start, we have very much the support of the private sector, transforming the economy with a view to develop the private sector in a sustainable manner. That's why also, since a long time ago, much before all the discussion about climate change and so forth took really a big room in the global agenda, we were focusing a lot also on green transition, how to accompany energy transition in our countries of operation. So we started mainly in Eastern Europe, post-Soviet Union countries, and moved progressively to Turkey, European countries, Mediterranean countries. And we've been called to intervene in Greece in the context of the Greek crisis, what was called the Greek crisis at that point of time, to support the private sector agenda, privatization agenda, and also investment activity. So this is very much what we've been doing. We intervene in 38 countries today, and we are part of the global international financial institution system. What we do also, one important element I wanted to flag is that we are a bank, so we are doing financing, lending activity, equity financing. We have accompanied a lot privatization operation, but also policy advice. And this is something which we are very proud of, is to be able to accompany the government and the countries in which we intervene to take policy reforms, develop a policy agenda that will be supportive to the private sector and nowadays to the green transition and so forth. So, for example, we intervene a lot on the governance framework for SOEs, fight against corruption, long-term strategies to develop private sector investment in the green area and things like that. So we are not only a bank like Standard Bank, but also bringing this policy dimension and technical cooperation, technical assistance. For example, for the SMEs, we have developed very strong and important program to support SMEs with advisory capacities, financing for them consultants, so that's to help them to develop further.
What about Greece?
So Greece, we started intervening in Greece in the context of the crisis, and we've been very active. I think last year we invested around 800 million euros in Greece, mainly in the private sector. And I think we have developed a strong partnership with the government to accompany the transformation of the country and so forth. And Greece has been one of the first countries I pay a virtual visit because of travel restriction in the current context to meet with our clients and the authorities to discuss the agenda and how the BRD can best support the transformation of the country. And I must say we are very committed and very happy to see, in the development, and the development in all the areas, the capacity to enhance innovation, new companies being created, but also the big shift in energy policies and big transformation in view of the climate change agenda, which is very much at the core of the European priorities. So I think that we are, for us, Greece is a success story, and I think that I've been working, in the EU at the time where Greece was in difficult situation with a lot of, support from IMF, from the ESM, and so forth. And I think really such a big change has been taken place, and really we can see the successes and the very good dynamics, and which is now, of course, the COVID crisis came, and as in all economies, has had an important impact on growth, with a strong, important recession for countries, which is also, have a lot of activity related to tourism. This has, by definition, an impact, but I think that there are strong bases to support and to have a strong recovery as soon as the pandemic will be under control, and building on very accommodative policies, be it on the fiscal side and on the monetary side, overall at the European level.
I would like to discuss with you your institutional priorities, green inclusion and digital. And I would like to ask you some more specific questions as far as green is concerned. And we all know that green funding is very expensive nowadays. So where is all this money going to come from now that we had to spend, or we have to spend everything on COVID?
I think in the middle of 2020, when the crisis really hit, and when there were all the restrictive measures to close the economy, all the lockdown and so forth, at that point of time, I think all our support and the government support to the economy was focusing really on keeping the economy, the companies, the private sector afloat, avoiding a major wave of bankruptcies, a deep collapse and loss in capital on the economy. But now that we are turning progressively, and everything is not solved, we know that there are still a lot of way to go in terms of vaccination and really having the pandemic under control, and there are uncertainty related to variants, but still, I believe that in the EU, we are progressively moving towards focusing on the recovery. I think now, so it's a big opportunity, because for the recovery needs to be supported by public policies, public investment, intervention of institutions like EBRD and other RFIs. And I think that what is very important is to use this recovery to build back better, which is something now everybody and all institutions are talking about, but which is really to use the recovery support to be more focused on green, to invest in greening the economy. And this is very much the spirit of the European Recovery Fund, Recovery and Resilience Fund, with the EU Next Generation, which has as a key component green investment. And I think with this approach, and this is very much what we are doing also, we both support, the economic activity and growth, because, this invest in a new project, new investment and so forth, but also preparing and addressing the big challenges for all countries, which is climate change. And I think it's very relevant in a country like Greece, where there will be a lot of EU resources. We are also investing a lot. And in all what we are doing, we really try to get this green dimension. Our objective is to have 50% of our financing with, being part of green financing. It's quite ambitious. Last year, we really dropped because of what I was saying about emergency financing, liquidity support, and so forth. But we really are hoping and working very hard to get back to this trend and get back to something like half of our activity in the green dimension. But this can mean, for example, what we are doing. We can support projects in transport, but then try to bring a green dimension that will have a positive effect on climate.
President Basso, let me carry on with another question as far as inclusion is concerned. And if this is the birth of a truly global labor market, where does this leave the average worker in any EBRD country of operation? What could you do for that, for them?
I mean, what's clear is that the crisis has had and is having a very strong impact on inequalities and has a much stronger impact on some categories of workers, probably the low qualified workers, women, and so forth. So it has a very, creates decrease inequalities and differences. And so what we are trying to do, and I think that's a very important priority for us, is to focus on the young people who have been also very strongly affected because of difficulties to access the market, because of difficulty to pursue studying and the studying condition, but also to support particularly women who have been mostly affected, often because they work more in services sector, hospitality sector, which have been more strongly impacted by the COVID crisis. And also having to deal with children not going to school, all this, the change in, the difficulties in day-to-day life. So I think that our priority is really to take that dimension into account, and there also in all the project we are doing to bring this dimension. For example, to support when we are extending some financing for the banking system to include dimension women in business, so to ask our banking partners to finance in priority women in business. So and I think that's important because it will be key for the long-term recovery, and it's also an issue of fairness. And I think to keep societies unified and ensuring that people have equal opportunities, it will be very important to address these specific consequences of the crisis. The crisis also opens up new opportunities, I think, for workers in the different countries in which we intervene. There is a lot of talks about reorganization of supply chain. It also showed that remote work can be a new opportunity. So I think there is a lot of lessons to be drawn from the crisis in terms of work organization in the world.
A last question. We have actually, the time passes very quickly. We have less than 2 minutes, and I would like to ask you a last question. As far as this digitalization and all these new technologies are concerned, and how can the EBRD help each country of operation move from the assembly line to these new frontiers? In 1 minute, please, the answer.
I will be extremely quick. First of all, the crisis has accelerated very much the digitalization, and it has shown to all kinds of companies, including SMEs, that this is key for their development and so forth. And so what we do is that first of all, we invest in high-tech companies, startup, and we've done that very recently in Greece with Viva Valet, I think, which is a company in the on-store payment system, which is very promising. So I help them, we provided financing to them, but we also help SMEs, not necessarily very high-tech, but SMEs to develop on the digital front, to develop their digital capabilities, to be able to work on a digital basis with clients and so forth, so as to be able to continue business in the current very specific situation where people travel less, or where shops or restaurants are closed. So I think that's what we can do to support our clients and the countries in which we intervene.
Madam President of EBRD, Madame Odile Renaud-Basso, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup for this conversation. Best regards from Athens.
Thank you very much.
Λοιπόν, κάπου εδώ φτάσαμε στο τέλος. Δίνουμε τη σκητάλη στους επόμενους ομιλητές.